Radio Nasha presents Yaaron Dosti और KK, a tribute to KK.
आवारापन बंजारापन एक सीने में.
Artists never die.
Absolutely.
His voice is with us and it'll always be. So we have not accepted that he's not. He's right here with us. Every time you listen to his music, he's with you.
Yeah,
he's with you.
खुदा जाने के मैं फिदा हूँ, खुदा जाने मैं मिट गया.
So the interesting thing is, this is the actual reaction of the first line of Nakul. The sound engineer Abhay,
Yeah.
he was an assistant engineer at that time when we recorded Yaaron Dosti.
Oh.
So he was now the engineer.
क्या बात है.
हाँ, we back to the same studio, whatever. जैसे नकुल ने first line गाया ना, I saw Abhay's reaction. वो हाथ छोड़ दिया. I also looked. I said, sound just KK. The same voice as KK. Just came out through the speakers.
Radio Nasha presents Yaaron Dosti और KK, a tribute to KK.
From the voice of a generation to gone too soon. आज जब हम केके की बात करते हैं, it's tinged with sadness, it's tinged with loss. But it'll never take away from the beautiful, beautiful singer and the human being that he was. Radio Nasha पर, as we put together this tribute for KK, आज मेरे साथ रेडियो नशा पर आई हैव अ लेजेंड लेज़ली लुइस, जिन्होंने मेरे शो पर काफ़ी मेरा साथ दिया है, अपने हमेशा टैलेंट को सपोर्ट किया है और आप उनके साथ रहे हैं. बट केके के साथ एक बहुत ही खास रिश्ता आपका रहा. ट्रूली यू आर द रीज़न वाई वी नो केके, यू इंट्रोड्यूस्ड केके टू द वर्ल्ड. आज हम उसके बारे में बात करने वाले हैं खास करके. टेक मी बैक टू द टाइम जब शायद आपने पहली बार केके को सुना या उनसे मुलाकात हुई.
फर्स्ट साइट ऑफ केके जो किसी ने देखा नहीं है, बिकॉज आपने सबको केके को जब देखा था, ही हैड ऑलरेडी, जो पब्लिक में जब आया था उसके हेयर कट हुई थी, शॉर्ट हेयर था.
जी हाँ.
वो जब मैंने पहले देखा, इतना हिप तक उसके लंबे बाल ऐसे.
Really?
Amazing. And he had a rock star vibe about. He's like a lion. He had that feel. So he walked in and this big smile and this long hair. And he's saying, hi Leslie, so I'm like, so thrilled to meet you. Ki I've always dreamed of, working with you. So he came and I heard his voice and it's a really fab voice. So I said, theek hai, but I'm always like this. I will always give the right singer the right song. Apparently, जो दिन मैंने कॉल किया कि केके को तुम्हारे लिए एक जिंगल है, I want you to come and sing, was the same day his son was born, Nakul.
Oh my God, that is so special.
It's so special because he went home. I mean, obviously his baby is just born, and he said, Leslie Lewis just called me for my first jingle. So that was my start with KK.
Jingles के दौर में कौन से, the audience knows KK. Again, let me tell you this, guys. अगर आप KK the singer को जानते हैं, उस KK तक भी हमको लेज़ली लुइस ने पहुंचाया.
मुझे अब जिंगल्स इजीली याद नहीं कि बहुत से, सो मॉन्टी कार्लो, so many jingles he sung. For example, KK ने बहुत से jingles गाए, लेकिन जब when I started Bollywood की जो remixes है आशा जी के साथ, पिया तू अब तो आ जा, राहुल एंड आई, तो उसमें मोनिका, oh my darling, वो मैंने नहीं गाया, वो KK ने गाया.
Oh my God!
Yeah, because he was the backing vocalist. I was not going to sing it. Video में they asked me to sing that part, so everyone thinks I say, but that's KK.
That's KK.
So ऐसे he started, but he would keep coming to me and say, Les, you do my album now. I've always dreamed that you will do my album. In those days, it was very difficult for anyone to do an album. You needed the support of a record label. So जब Sony Music came to India, they were looking for new artists and तो मैंने क्या किया कि उसके सब जो जिंगल्स थे ना, एक टेप पे मैंने ट्रांसफर कर दिए, एंड आई टुक दैट टेप टू सोनी म्यूजिक एंड आई सेड लिसन टू दिस गाय, ग्रेट वॉइस. सो दे हर्ड इट एंड सेड, या मैन, ही साउंड्स ग्रेट, बिकॉज़ ऑल माय जिंगल्स ही वाज साउंडिंग फैब. सो आई सेड, व्हाई डोंट यू डू हिज एल्बम, साइन हिम ऑन. सो दे सेड, या वीड लव टू, so you'll do the album. I said, नहीं भाई, मेरे पास तो टाइम नहीं है, because I was doing Asha ji and Colonial Cousins and I was very busy.
It was a very busy time.
Yeah, and I was like top of my game at that point. Like, so there was no time to do, and a young unknown singer. I would love to do it, but I said right now I can't do it. But you can sign him on and you can get his album done. It's not like I didn't want to do KKs. It's just like I didn't have the time at that time. But I wanted him to get the deal. So I got the deal for him.
Yes.
But then they said, "No, if you're not doing it, then we'll see you later." I said, "भाई, एक तो लटका के रखा है इसको. अब we'll see later बोला तो poor chap, he might slip." So I said, "ठीक है, I'll adjust my schedule, whatever, and I will do it." And that's how KK got signed to Sony Music. And that's how I created the album called Pal, with all the Pal, Yaaron Dosti, all those songs. Introducing
KK, you know, it's tough for us to have this chat without at some point tearing up, क्योंकि आपने हमें ना केवल KK दिया, you gave an entire generation a voice. At that time, you know, what did you have in terms of design for this boy जिनकी आवाज़ आपको पसंद थी? क्योंकि वो बहुत अलग गाने हैं. आज भी there is no song like Yaaron Dosti. There have been many songs on friendship. Yes. But why is Yaaron Dosti like that? Why is Pal like that? मुझे बताइए. आपकी दुआ. Oof.
Because it's so me. It's, you know, if I sang those songs, it would sound different, but the styling हमारा दोनों का similar था.
Yeah.
Because KK also came from an English background and
rock and roll.
Rock and roll. So Delhi में भी also he used to sing in rock bands and you know, so he and I connected on that. So for KK, when I composed, he's a rock and roller. He loves great melodies. You know, he loves Bryan Adams. He loves all that stuff, which is rock, but it's melodic rock. So we kind of introduced India to a softer rock, which is the Pal album.
You know, his children are obviously now, you know, going to be the carriers of his legacy. और वो आपसे काफ़ी क्लोज हैं और आप उन्हें सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं in terms of whatever their projects might be. वो रिश्ता कैसा है? क्योंकि मैं जानती हूँ कि they are also putting together something जिसमें आपका साथ देना बहुत ज़रूरी है.
Nakul, this is son who was born on the first day that I gave KK's first jingle, and Tamara. Yeah. So Tamara and Nakul are both lovely kids. मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि because they are KK's kids. If you meet them, they're just wonderful human beings, nice kids. You know, you can see the family backdrop and you know, एक जो होता है ना family का जो backdrop बच्चों में आता है. Very lovely, very approachable, very grounded kids. Yeah. And very respectful in their own way. I'm a Leslee uncle who बन गया है, तो ठीक है. But Leslee uncle is now going to make them sing dad's song. And he's taken them back to the same studio that dad sang it in and stand in the same place that dad stood and sang that song. So I remember Nakul was so the interesting thing is, this is the actual reaction of the first line of Nakul. The sound engineer, Abhay. Yeah. He was an assistant engineer at that time when we recorded Yaaron Dosti. Oh. So he was now the engineer.
क्या बात है.
हाँ, we back to the same studio, whatever. So everybody knows KK's voice. KK has recorded in my studio that Purple Haze a million times. So everybody knows his voice, plus we know his voice. Everybody knows it. But mic पे कैसा रहता है, we know it because we are the sound engineers and producers. जैसे नकुल ने first line गाया ना, I saw Abhay's reaction, वो हाथ छोड़ दिया. I also looked, I said, sound, just KK. The same voice as KK. Just came out through the speakers.
To say thank you, of course, to KK, if there's one song that you want to sing for us today, वो कौन सा गाना होगा?
Well, बहुत से गाने हैं, but okay, let me try and sing Yaaron Dosti.
Thank you.
In my own way.
Of course.
यारों दोस्ती बड़ी ही हसीन है, ये ना हो तो क्या फिर बोलो ये जिंदगी है, कोई तो दिलबर हो या बेगरज तेरा हो या कोई तो हो राज़दार. यारों मोहब्बत ही तो बंदगी है, ये ना हो तो क्या फिर बोलूं ये जिंदगी है, कोई तो हो राज़दार बेगरज तेरा हो या कोई तो हो राज़दार. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. यारों दोस्ती बड़ी हसीन है, ये ना हो तो क्या फिर बोलूं ये जिंदगी है.
रेडियो नशा प्रेजेंट्स यारों दोस्ती और केके, a tribute to KK.
You know, Shilpa, I can't help but talk about this क्योंकि अगर हम खुदा जाने की बात करें, then you know you sang that song with one of our most loved voices who we unfortunately have lost, and that is the wonderful KK. I cannot go ahead without asking you, KK की क्या जगह थी तुम्हारी जिंदगी में? वो गाना कितना खास था तुम दोनों के लिए?
वो गाना तो आई थिंक लॉट्स ऑफ फर्स्ट्स, क्योंकि हम सब जब बॉम्बे आए थे तो हम लोग वी केम हियर टू डू गुड म्यूजिक more than anything else. I didn't know उस टाइम पे तो Instagram, Facebook कुछ था नहीं, so we didn't have any. The only thing that we knew was we came to do good music, and which is the same for all of us right now. अभी भी तो वो गाना मेरे लिए बहुत सारे first थे. मेरा my first song with KK, my first song with Vishal Shekhar, my first song with Yash Raj, my first nomination, my first award, my first foreign trip, my first tour in outside of India, everything, because I used to open for KK, which was such an honor on its own, and I used to sit backstage and look at him कि वो stage को कैसे संभालते हैं, audience के साथ कैसे you interact. So it was a very big learning process for me, and he was the nicest human being. Like हम लोग जा रहे थे for the tour, वो कहते हैं ना, शिल्पा this jacket you're wearing ना, ये वहाँ ठंड ज़्यादा रहेगी, so please pack nicely, हाँ, क्योंकि आप नहीं गए हो कभी, तो first time who thinks of these things, yeah? So KK was that person कि वो आसपास है ना, वो ख्याल रखते थे, and I think that is what we miss most about him, that he was such a good human being. बहुत अच्छे थे, and artists never die.
Absolutely.
His voice is with us, and it'll always be. So we have not accepted that he's he's right here with us. Every time you listen to his music, he's with you. He's with you.
Oof, absolutely. Would you want to sing a little bit of Khuda Jaane for us today?
सजदे में यूं ही झुकता हूँ, तुम पे ही आके रुकता हूँ, क्या ये सबको होता है, हमको क्या लेना है सबसे, तुमसे ही सब बातें अब से, बन गए हो तुम मेरी दुआ, खुदा जाने के मैं फिदा हूँ, खुदा जाने मैं मिट गया, खुदा जाने ये क्यों हुआ है कि बन गए हो तुम मेरे खुदा.
रेडियो नशा प्रेजेंट्स यारों दोस्ती और केके, a tribute to KK.
आज हम of course जुड़ रहे हैं for यारो दोस्ती and KK, a tribute to KK on Radio Nasha. Shaan, of course, thank you so much मेरे साथ जुड़ने के लिए and for honoring my attempt to give a tribute. I really respect that. क्योंकि वो जो दौर है, you know, जो इंडी पॉप का दौर था, उसमें आप थे ही, लेकिन आपके साथ आपके दोस्त KK, okay, उनका भी इजाद हमारे पॉपुलर कल्चर में उसी टाइम पर हुआ था. क्या आप दोनों उस दौर में you know, दोस्त बन गए थे?
हाँ, ऑफ कोर्स. हम एक्चुअली केके से मैं इत्तेफाकन मिला था चर्च गेट स्टेशन पर, दोनों ट्रेन पकड़ रहे थे कमिंग बैक इनटू द सबर्ब्स, एंड दिस इज प्रॉब्ली द अर्ली मिड 90s, 93 94 की बात होगी. और तो तब ऑफ कोर्स यू नो वॉकमैन पे कुछ सुन रहे थे, ठीक है, तो मैं उनसे पूछा कि क्या सुन रहे हैं, यू नो खाली ट्रेन थी दोपहर के टाइम पे, यू नो व्हेन यू आर कमिंग बैक फ्रॉम टाउन इट्स नॉट वेरी क्राउडेड, एंड आई tried to start a conversation with him, got to know he's KK, also got to know that my sister was talking about him just 2 or 3 days back, that she had recorded something for Vishal Bhardwaj ji, and you know there was this amazing singer with this amazing range and this whole rock star you know vocal vibe. तो मुझे वो याद आ गया, सर अरे आपने विशाल भारद्वाज के लिए कुछ गाना गाया, सर या हाउ डू यू नो, सो आई सेड माय सिस्टर सागरिका, मैं भी गाता हूँ. and it was all it was and since then of course फिर उसके बाद of course बहुत सारे shows किए साथ में, बहुत सारी गाने गाए साथ में.
Do you remember your breakthrough? Do you remember KK's breakthrough? और वो उस दौर में क्या आप दोनों ने एक दूसरे के साथ कोई वक्त बिताया, कोई बात हुई, congratulate किया एक दूसरे को?
KK was introduced with Aapki Dua. I remember that beautiful rock song, and then came the eternal, the evergreen Pal. Or I think Aapki Dua, of course, launched him, but Pal was his breakthrough song, beautifully picturized, and वो पूरे band के साथ चल रहे हैं. And though his albums was individual, but it was wonderful to see him always keeping his band in the videos also, keeping them a part of his journey. And that is really KK. कभी भी अगर मौका मिले limelight अपने से किसी और पे डालने के लिए, he's the first to sneak away from it. तो कई बार हम लोग travel भी करते थे, और because वो इतना television नहीं करते थे, या फिर उतना interviews में चेहरा इतना लोगों हर किसी को उसकी आवाज से बहुत वाकिफ थे हर कोई, लेकिन KK was always hiding away. So कभी कोई फोटो भी लेने आया, अरे I'll take it, क्योंकि वो खुद फोटो लेके मैं उनको बोलता आपको पता है कौन फोटो ले रहा है, तो मैं बोलता that's KK. और फिर bro you shouldn't have told them यार, फिर अभी मेरा भी फोटो लेने चाहिए. So he was very very shy, very to himself, and so many crazy times he had. Yeah,
I would say that in a weird way, two of your destinies कहीं ना कहीं एक साथ शुरू हुए थे, and both of yours had this beautiful peak very differently, of course, at the same time. There was never a sense of competition, because I know that I've seen photos of the two of you. हाल ही में आपने कॉन्सर्ट किया in June, where you sang a tribute, a beautiful tribute to him. वहां से मैंने वो वीडियो क्लिप देखा था और मैंने कहा था यार, I need to do this. I need to speak to everybody who can speak to me or will speak to me and put down this tribute together. ये रिश्ता competition से परहेज कैसे था?
क्योंकि मैं starting of the millennium 2000 में जब आए थे, तो एक transition हो रही थी from the very काफी एक uber cool heroes बन रहे थे, characters बन रहे थे. A lot of shooting was happening abroad, so they wanted a bit of that English touch to it, or even the singing a little more modern, little more urban आप कह सकते हैं. लेकिन चूंकि मुझको बड़ा ही शौक था उस तरह के थोड़े से कहीं मतलब जो हम सुनते आए हैं, तो थोड़ा सा वो हस्की टच और वो सब ज्यादा रोमांस घोलना आवाज में, जो कि ट्रेडिशनली चल रहा था. बट के सरप्राइजिंगली कभी ओवर इमोट नहीं करते थे गानों को, बहुत ही एक दिल से अपने अंदाज से गाते थे. And he had a mid-strong voice and that amazing range कि he could sing that full-throated voice at वो तार सप्तक में भी आराम से गा जाते थे. तो वो चीजें बहुत नेचुरली थी. कभी मैंने केके को रियाज करते हुए, कभी उसको बहुत ज्यादा डिटेलिंग में घुस के गाने की मैंने नहीं देखा, लेकिन जो दिल से गाता था ना, वो उस जमाने में लगता था कि यार ये बड़ा कैजुअली गाता है, उतना फील या उतना ओवर इमोट नहीं करता. But I think that worked out for him really well in the long run.
One of my favorite songs, which I think that at that point also, आज भी जब आशिक दिल टूटते हैं अपना, जब आशिकों का दिल टूटता है, तो तड़प के इस दिल वही गाना जो है याद आता है. Are there any of your favorites, Shaan? Would you like to pick एक या दो ऐसे गाने जो आपको बेहद पसंद थे के? Even when they came out, you were like, you know what, I love this song,
My all-time favorite KK song has to be Khuda Jane. I think the way he sang that song, he was on some other plane, some other orbit, because बहुत ही उस गाने को जैसे कहते कि चार चांद लगा दिया KK की आवाज ने, and it was beautiful. It was just the right amount of romance and yet flamboyance, exuberance. बहुत ही मेरा one of my favorite KK songs. फिर आवारापन बंजारापन एक सीने में, उसमें जैसे you can feel the lows in his voice as well as the highs. बहुत गहराई से उस गाने को उन्होंने गाया. तो ऐसे कुछ गाने हैं. मैं के किसी भी गाने को सुनकर आपको कह सकता हूँ कि उसकी इंटरेस्ट लेवल कितनी परसेंटेज की थी इस गाने में, because he's such a honest person. I can tell you which song he's enjoying singing, which song he's sung from a lot of depth, and which song चलो यार खत्म करते हैं चलो.
I wonder if the two of you were actually in the same studio when you all recorded Koi Kahe Kehta Rahe, because this was in the year 2000. 22 years ago वो गाना आया था. And I hope
जी,
that
जी.
two of you actually, was it a party, the recording of that song?
Of course, when you record for Shankar, Shankar and Loy, it's always a party. There's never a, moment of seriousness. Shankar, hey, come on, hey, let's sing. Arey, tu ye line ga, tu ye ga. We don't know when it's over. Before it started, the song is over. And there was a little joke on this song. I had the lines for Akshay Khanna in this film, in this song, Koi Kahe. And but when they played it out to then Amrita Singh, as in Saif's wife, then. And they did a prank with her saying that Saif has sung this song, as in, because I sounded so much like him, so they had to then turn the whole thing around, and that's how then I ended up doing Jise Dhoondta Hu Main Har Kahin, the song that is picturized on Saif Ali, because of the way the voice matched. In fact, we had a few near misses also. There was a song, you remember that ek gana tha, Aila re, Aila ro, kya bola phir bol re.
Josh,
So this song, गाना, तो ये गाना ऑलरेडी रिकॉर्ड हो चुका था. साउथ के मनु और दो सिंगर्स वहाँ के किए थे. अनु जी चाह रहे थे कि ये गाना हम रिकॉर्ड करें, तो हमें उन्हीं की आवाज सुनाकर कहा कि अभी तुम लोग इस गाने को गाओ. तो फिर ब्लू डायमंड स्टूडियो में हम दोनों एकदम खुश हो, बोले कि यार हम तो जमा देंगे इसको, ये कर देंगे वो कर देंगे. फिर कुछ दिन बाद गाना निकला तो देखा कि हमारी आवाज ही रिजेक्ट हो गई, उन्हीं की आवाज में आई. तो दोनों खूब हंसे यार. हम लोग तो बहुत मतलब खुद पर ऐसी बिलीफ के साथ गा रहे थे कि यार हम लोग तो इस गाने को अलग लेवल पर ले गए. एंड हम लोग एक दूसरे से बात कर रहे थे कि थैंक गॉड वी sang it यार, अब तो गाना हिट लग रहा है. तो काइंड ऑफ फील वी पुट इन. फिर हम लोग बोले, अनु बोले कि नहीं, तुम लोग का बिल्कुल उनको पसंद नहीं आया. So sometimes so anyway, but we've done at least 20 odd songs together, of which I think at least a dozen songs are very popular songs.
Radio Nasha presents Yaaron Dosti और KK, a tribute to KK.
Happy birthday, KK. We are all going to celebrate it like you never went away. And if wherever you are in the heaven hearing us, we are going to keep your legacy alive. Your loss is, I don't even know what to say. It's just like so sad. Like I don't know, like it's just too much.
It's a void that I don't think anyone can fill. But I think the kind of music he's done, जिस तरह के गाने उन्होंने गाए हैं, जो संगीत वो हमें देकर गए हैं, I think that will always live, and he will live in us through all those songs and that music. वो जो inspiration हम उनसे लेते हैं वो हम continue करेंगे लेना, and I hope that we are able to carry his musical legacy forward
forever. We miss you, KK.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Radio Nasha presents Yaaron Dosti और KK, a tribute to KK.
Nakul, Tamara, thank you so much इस KK tribute पर मुझे join करने के लिए. I must tell you, I must start off with this story, Nakul, कि Leslee Lewis जब मेरे स्टूडियो में आए थे, उन्होंने मुझसे कहा था कि कैसे, he got his first ever jingle. The first day that he got his jingle was the day, Nakul, जब तुम पैदा हुए थे.
Yeah.
Clearly, the two of you have been, blessings in his life. It's tough to talk about, your father without me, being emotionally a little, hard up. But I cannot even imagine ये loss तुम्हारे यहाँ पर, कैसे असर पड़ रहा होगा. But having said that, first of all, let me just welcome both of you to Radio Nasha. Thank you for giving us the time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
actually,
thanks.
So it's an honor for us to be doing this interview with you as well. You've done interviews with Dad, so it's quite special for us too.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I want to ask you first off, people always say that he's the nicest guy. How is he as a father, Nakul? तुम्हारे साथ शुरू करते हैं.
घर पे हमेशा very casual, always joking around. I don't actually remember having too many serious conversations with him. It was always something about a movie that he was watching and he wanted me to watch, or some accent he was trying to make, a joke with, and always just keeping it light. And, I think the way most people remember him is accurate, like an excitable, funny,
Cute.
innocent, youthful kind of personality always.
Yeah. Tamara
Is an amplified version of that at home, in fact. I would say.
amplified version of that at home. Tamara, how is how is it around you? Because I know one thing, being the only daughter, and I'm also a brother sister, pair at home. I know I was my dad's favorite. तुम्हारे साथ भी ऐसे था क्या?
I think like dad loved both of us equally, but like but like at home he was just too cute, man. Like he used to just like
I feel like
dance around, and me and dad we used to snack together all the time. Like
they had their similar bonding
with food
routines.
Yeah, like both of us will meet each other in the kitchen and we'll see like fresh pav at home and we'll be like, okay, let's eat pav.
The white butter,
Yeah, sugar, white
butter. He'd be sneakily making his pav in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I'd find either Tamara and him or just dad by himself.
Eating.
Eating pav and white butter. How cool is that?
Yeah.
If I had to ask each of you, what is the most valuable lesson that you probably learned from dad?
I think for me, like when I was small, like quite small, and I told dad like I want to be a singer, and like I used to tell him like, because in school like some teachers would be like, they'd be like, okay fine, but like what's your backup plan and stuff. And dad used to like always tell me like, don't have a backup plan, because then you shouldn't have anything you can fall back on, so that you'll go for this like fully.
Yeah, give it your 100%.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you mean.
He believed in no backup, huh? That's mad.
Yeah. He said, don't keep a backup plan, because otherwise you won't put your 100% in this.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel making sure that you're fundamentally happy no matter what's happening, work-wise or any other way, any other aspect of your life. The fundamentals, you should be good. You should be happy.
And family,
and not to take anything too seriously. I feel like that's another thing with dad. Like, kaam aayega to kaam aayega. Friends will come, friends will go. It's like, just be open and go with the flow. I would think that.
Yeah, and like he prioritized like family time a lot. Like so we got to have a lot of time with dad. Like, like my friends and stuff. I remember like their dads would go for work like, very often. But we saw dad a lot. Like,
he
would
spent
hang
a
out
lot
at
of
home
time
and just chill together like for hours, like every day.
The other side of the story, because from the industry side of the story, I'll tell you. KK, वो अपना काम करते थे, कमाल का करते थे, लेकिन जैसे ही काम खत्म होता वो बोलता मैं जा रहा हूँ. Run away. And I have literally heard this from everybody saying that he would never wait around, he'd never do parties, even for dinner, even if it's very late in the night, he was, nahi, mujhe ghar jana. And he was, and this is what it was, because he had the two of you, and of course Jyoti ma'am, the three of you. Actually, his entire life, he didn't want anything more than to spend time with you. I was just going to say that he truly is a king of the people. Before we go, of course, Nakul, I've heard too much about your voice. Saying that it sounds a lot like dad. So, थोड़ा सा हमारे लिए गा दोगे आज?
हम रहे आना रहे कल याद आएंगे ये पल ये है प्यार के पल चल आ मेरे संग चल सोचे क्या छोटी सी है जिंदगी कल मिल जाए तो होगी खुशनसीबी हम रहे आना रहे याद आएंगे ये पल